Hello, hello, hello.
There, I think we got it. I think we got it
Okay.
now. Wait. I think we in this. See, there we go.
Okay.
I think
Heavy.
we in there now.
Heavy, can you hear
Yeah,
us?
Sheree said she can hear us.
Okay.
We in there now. All right. All right. I'm sorry about that, y'all. We was talking like a whole 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yikes. Oh my God. Well, you know what? Better late than never
Yeah.
is what I like to say. Anyway, man.
She said y'all are good. Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, family. Now I got the restage. Good. Now I got the I got to get rid of the demons. Yeah. All right. Family. We back in full effect. Your twin flames are back. This is our first live, y'all. That's why this is why we had some technical difficulties because this is our first live.
Yeah, so please have patience.
Have some patience with
we
us.
newbies with this.
In life, you gotta have patience.
Yep.
But man, we are so glad y'all are here. What's up? Chat.
Welcome.
Chat in the comments where y'all from, man. Where y'all from? Where y'all chiming in from, man. But you know, what we were talking about was we were on live on TikTok the other day, and we had a whole conversation, a real pretty deep conversation. We had started a little controversy because we had actually went a little viral on one of our TikToks talking about vibrations, which I found to be real interesting. That we went viral talking about vibrations because this is what Keisha and I specialize in vibrations.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into it tonight. We really got to get this information out when it comes to vibrations. So buckle up, man, because we got some info for you.
We definitely do.
And this is why we want to talk about relationships and self-love, because we're going to decode some of this information for you guys. And it actually intertwines with vibrations. And we talk about vibrations, but do people really understand what that means? And, the universe has definitely tapped in and decoded this information for us. And it's important that we share the information with y'all.
Definitely.
So when we went viral over that TikTok about vibrations, that TikTok, we had mentioned that we have to figure out how people who sit on higher vibrations, how do you maintain your vibration when you are around individuals that are on lower vibrational levels? And it can get a little tough. And a lot of people were expressing how draining it can be. And no doubt it can be draining. And the irony is that a lot of people were coming in the chat and they were chiming in and people were saying how, oh, it's not my responsibility.
Yeah.
That's not my responsibility, right? And that in itself started to become draining for me. As an empath, that response was becoming draining for me because I have a certain level of awareness when it comes to vibration. And hearing people that feel like it's that not their responsibility to hold a certain light and a certain vibration, it's triggering. And it made me actually understand certain things about myself. So, this is why we came to the table to spread this knowledge. And if some of you guys were actually on our live on TikTok, some of it's going to be a repeat, but a lot of it is not. A lot of it is not. So we want to delve first and foremost into self-love tonight, because this is going to be the start of it all, the start of the conversation. Because you can't move forward to the next steps until you actually start to understand the self. So the self has to go through a lot of healing. A lot of healing. And when we all come into this world, we all come in loving ourselves, right? we all come into this world loving ourselves. We have no hate for ourselves, but we develop it over time. And a lot of things program us to hate ourselves, whether it be society, whether it be relationships with people, our parents, or our friends, or our friends at school, seeing things on TV, whatever it may be. Things teach us how to hate ourselves. And we're so young, the spirit, the mind is so young, we don't know, we can't understand it. But the young mind has to go through what it goes through, so that way we can become adults and break free from it. And it's all a training process. It's a gym. It's a school. And welcome to the school of earth, y'all. Welcome to the school of earth. And literally, that's why we are here. And you got to master it in order to graduate from this motherfucker.
Exactly. One of the things that Janine and I had discovered, and you've heard us, if you watch any of our videos, we discovered that we were sent here to help people win. And through our own journeys, because in order to help others, you have to have some trauma and pain yourself. So all the things that we talk about is things that we went through, experiences. And so we've overcome and conquered a lot of the tools that we share with people. And going back to the whole thing of why Jeannie and I were sent here, is because people are here suffering and not understanding why they're not winning. They're seeing, I spoke to someone today who is 38 years old, and I asked her, I said, do you know what your purpose is on this planet? And she says she doesn't know. So I said to her,
and a lot of people don't know.
They don't know their purpose. And I said to her, when I get a chance, because her and I are pretty close, I said, when I get a chance, because she's in a different state, I said, I will have the chance to give you your quantum healing. And we can peel back some layers and find out why you're here. Mind you, she has a family. She's has a beautiful family. So I said, well, first of all, we all know that one of your purposes was to have those beautiful kids. So that's one of her purposes. But people are still searching for that actual aha. And so one of the things I said to her was, you must keep in mind that the aha may not even be what you think it is. We all come here with a purpose. We all come here with a checkoff list, some boxes. And that checkoff list, it could be, I know one of mine was patience, anxiety. And so going back to the beginning of this conversation, Janine and I were sent here to help people. And the problem, what we find is that while people are trying to navigate in this thing we call life and try to be successful, they don't know where to begin. And it all begins with the person himself and their vibration and their energy. And if you haven't conquered you per se, then you cannot manifest the things that you dream of. And so that's where we step in and try to help you. And I will tell you that it's not an easy process, but it's a doable process. And the reason why it's not an easy process is because you get in the way. You the problem. And that's why we are here with a lot of tools. And I always say, if you got eyes, ears, nose, feet, and toes, we are the people for you, because we have all of the things in our bag of tricks to help you win, to be successful, and actually to clean out your closet. You know, we've explained before, like I had this new analogy that they show me a garden, and I said it on the TikTok live. Like, if you have a garden and you want to press the reset button, the garden is full of bad soil. It has flowers that are blooming while there's other flowers that are dead. And then you come in talking about, oh, I got new seeds. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going back to school. I'm going to, what are things people say? I'm going to lose weight. And I'm going to have, I'm going to meet a new guy. I want a relationship. They have all of these new expectations of what they want to do when they press the reset button. but they must understand you got to get in that garden and take all that soil out, take out the dead flowers, the cobwebs, the weeds, and then replant, like put the new soil and replant. And then those new seeds, all these new ideas you have, then you could put it in there.
Yeah.
And that's where we come in.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to where we said in the beginning, what we said, self-love?
Self-love.
Self-love. That's cleaning out the soil.
You got to clean out the soil. and it's self-love is oneness, oneness. It's really fixing all it's a deep inner transition.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know where to start with it. A lot of people don't know that they are even the problem in the first place.
Oh, yeah. They like to point the fingers at everybody else.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of it is just understanding that where your vibratory level sits. There's a lot of, and the vibratory level is just an expression of anger or resentment and depression and different feelings that we give off. And sometimes people get stuck at certain vibratory levels.
Yes.
And when you get stuck at these levels, then you don't know how to see your way out of it. And that is where it starts to get complicated.
Yes.
And as it becomes more complex, sometimes it gets deeper when you start incorporating other relationships, mixing other relationships with those emotions. And we're going to get into that because that's when other soul contracts and other things come down the line. But like I said, that'll come later on down the line. But fixing yourself has to be the first step.
Yes.
It has to be the first step because you carry these things everywhere you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
At work.
Oh, yeah.
At home.
Yeah.
With your kids. With your family.
Yeah.
And this vibration, you don't even realize how it just resonates and it starts to affect other people in a way.
Oh, yeah.
And it penetrates, negative or positive, believe it or not.
Yeah. And people tend to start feeling down, like they start having mental issues because they're not going in the direction that they want to go into. And then it's like, why can't I get this done? And then they go on social media and see people winning, or they think they winning, but half those people have problems too.
Yeah, exactly.
I learned that the hard way. Wait, we got to give a joke. One time, right? Because Janine and I have been doing business for years, and we went to LA. We went to LA and did business, and this guy was phenomenal on social media. He had a Ferrari, he had a mansion, and then when he picked us up, he took us to his tiny ass apartment. So I'd say that to say, when you think people are doing better than you, most of everybody is on the same level as you. We are all trying to make it. So I just want to give you some hope.
But real shit though, at least he faked it till he made it though.
Yeah, I hope he made it. We don't know what he's doing now, but at that time,
sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Oh shit. But you know what though? Real talk though.
He was manifesting.
I was just about to say that.
I love it. He was manifesting.
I was just about to say that.
And he was raising your vibration because he had you believing that you could manifest too like him.
I swear to God.
See how we made lemons into lemonade?
See? When you start believing it, you start giving that shit off.
Yes.
But real talk, what you do. So the power of oneness, the power of believing in yourself, the power of self-healing is phenomenal. Knowing that you have that. So healing starts with the desire. You need the desire. You need to believe in yourself. You need to know and want to heal.
So how do you do that? Like how can a soul
absolutely
say, you know what, I believe in myself, like someone who's on a low vibrational level? Like how do Because that was the thing. That's what happened in the TikTok video. We were like, that's not my responsibility.
That's not my responsibility.
That's what people were saying.
Exactly. So the first step to self-healing, y'all, you gotta forgive yourself.
Yes.
You gotta forgive yourself.
Yes. And I want to give you an analogy. So I mentioned that garden that looks very trashy. Don't look at the garden as all your mistakes.
Yeah.
And all the things that you could have, should have, would have. You look at that garden as your badge of honor.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I've been through a lot of shit. And it's okay.
Right.
People must understand it's okay. The person you are at this very moment, it's okay that you're that person.
Right.
Because you were not meant to come into this world perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But what you were meant to do, like you said, was fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we come in.
Exactly. You gotta forgive yourself. Forgiveness is critical.
Mm-hmm.
When you forgive yourself, you allow yourself the space to let go of so much stuff, so much garbage. So nobody cares that you was a stripper.
Thank you.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares if you was a whore.
Nobody cares that you was busting it open.
Nobody cares that you was dipping your stick in many
Pods.
Yeah.
Nobody cares but you.
Yeah, exactly. But no, you know what it is too? Society and people who are holy rollers have a tendency to make people feel that they're less than.
They do.
And like for example, I was watching that movie that Beyonce was in. What is it called?
That's another subject though. But we'll talk about it.
But she was in a movie, I forgot what Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
And in the church, she was a floozy
mm-hmm.
because she had a kid early without a wedlock, and she was in a nightclub singing at night, and they made her feel like she was a floozy.
Right.
And it's like, and it was them pointing the finger at her. So then her morale was low.
Right.
So sometimes it's not just you that make yourself feel bad. It's society and your close loved ones.
Right.
That can make you feel worse.
Right.
So.
But that becomes your life lessons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that becomes the life lessons, and this is part of the things that we want to. No, there you go. Fighting temptations. That's
fighting temptation.
Fighting temptation in the comments. But yeah, so that becomes part of the life lessons, and so this is the thing, y'all. You design your life a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
You designed it before you got here.
Yes.
So that's why the forgiveness process is essential, because you created it.
So let's peel it back a little deeper.
Yeah.
Why did you create that?
Okay.
Because the thing is, we got to let go a little deeper. We got to go down the rabbit hole.
Right.
Why did you create that life that you're in right now?
Correct.
You want me to answer it or you answer it?
All right, you answer it. Karma. Yep.
From a previous life.
Yep. You created it.
A lot of people are waking up and realizing that there's more to life than what society and religion has taught us.
Correct.
And so,
and y'all can feel it, and you can't put your finger on it.
Yes. And through our quantum healing, we already knew this. I knew this from a little girl. My grandmother taught me that my grandmother taught me, and we went to a Baptist church, that she believed in reincarnation. So from a kid, I believed in reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Christians don't believe in reincarnation, and that's okay. And we always emphasize that whatever your religion is, we are not going against your religion.
Yeah, we try to incorporate it into our practices.
Yeah. But part of our truth is that you reincarnate, and the reason why you reincarnate is because you're back here on earth to fix the karma.
Mm-hmm.
And prior to you coming back here, you sat with a spiritual team,
mm-hmm.
and you devise a plan with your ancestor family on how you're going to fix the karma. And in order to fix the karma, you had to, first of all, I know for a fact, one of my things I had to fix was patience.
Mm-hmm.
So this lifetime, I picked the scenario of being a mother with 4 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have 4 kids, you have to have patience.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn. You don't have to have patience. You have many opportunities to learn how to have patience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I didn't have patience in the beginning. I didn't. I used to be a hot mess with that.
Yeah.
So
like for instance, let's take the person that was a stripper.
Yes.
The person that was a stripper had to learn self-love.
Yes.
And a lot of people have that. That's a
Mhm,
common thing in a
mhm.
lot of people's lives is
Yeah.
understanding self-love. So you'll have these issues where you are, that was mine, understanding self-love. And people have to go through the self-love process
Mhm.
because God needs you to love yourself so much that in order for you to get to the point where you love yourself so much, he's preparing you to love yourself enough to love somebody else at the same magnitude. It's a whole
Mhm.
setup process. It's a whole setup. But you have to go through these deep transitions that I was talking about in the beginning. But you can't get there until you go through a lot of these learnings.
Yeah, and there's
learnings.
different scenarios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't know, you don't realize that that's what's happening. But you have to go through the lessons in
Mhm.
life, and they're hard. You
They're
don't know,
hard.
like you don't know that that's what you're going through. Like
Yeah.
you're making tons of mistakes over and over and over and over and over again.
Mhm.
And that's why, again, that's why we said, like, you got to forgive yourself because you came here to purposefully make these mistakes.
Mhm.
And we're human.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
all human.
Mhm.
But guess what? You made the mistake because Earth is a school and you had to learn a lesson.
Yep.
Period.
Exactly.
Period. So forgive yourself.
Mhm.
After you forgive yourself, then you have to learn how to forgive other people.
Exactly. And to add to the whole forgiving others,
Mm-hmm.
if you had to learn how, well, so let's use self-love.
Yeah.
In order for you to learn self-love, I always tell people God doesn't hand you the lesson on a platter and say, okay, swallow that pill. Now you learn self-love. No, you have to be in a scenario with another person.
Yes.
You have to be in some serious, like, traumatic experiences for you to learn self-love. So then there has to be a villain in your story.
Correct.
And the villain basically was like, all right, I'll help Janine, or I'll help Keisha, we have Sheree, I'll help Sheree
Mm-hmm.
in that process where, okay, she needs to learn self-love. I'm going to put her through some serious shit for her to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And that part hurts because,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're going through that storm, if you're not enlightened, like we weren't enlightened when we were going through those storms, we just thought that life was shit and we were just, am I going to make it?
Mm-hmm.
But in order to learn the lesson, you had to go through the storm. And the person who was your villain, they did a great job. They get an Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you got to forgive them.
Exactly.
How can you not forgive the person that helped you check off that box on your long list of to-do list while you're here?
So I just want to reiterate that because that sounded convoluted, right? So I just want to reiterate that. So before we came here, you made a contract with somebody.
Yes.
Okay. We contract with another soul to say, okay, I'm signing up with you, your familiar spirit. I'm a contract with you to come back in this lifetime, and the next lifetime, to go through an experience where you can teach me lessons so that way I can learn my lesson. And we call that a soul contract, y'all. So now we're going to go on to the next step.
Well, before we go to, let's hold on to that.
Well, you can just talk about it. What you talking about?
But I want to say self-love because we didn't finish with the self-love. One of the things that people must understand is that you're your worst enemy. So on top of forgiving yourself and forgiving others, you must talk to yourself kindly. You must start being nice to yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate themselves.
Yeah.
A lot of people they wake up in the morning and the first thing they do is they sit on the toilet and start talking nonsense to themselves. And I must emphasize that because a lot of people do that. I wish I could do a survey and people are honest on that survey stating, I do talk bad to myself. Most of you do.
Yeah, that's true.
Most of you talk, I don't like the way my stomach look. Yeah. I don't like how this look. I don't like how that look. That's actually badgering you. So that's bullying you.
It is.
So how can you love yourself if you're bullying yourself at the same time? You got to pick a side.
Yeah.
Are you going to beat yourself up or are you going to love yourself?
Yeah.
So that plays a big part. And that's why, and the thing is, how can you forgive others if you don't even like you?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I went through that process. I would go to bed and tell myself how much I love me. And then I would get up in the morning and I would claim I'm going to have a great day and I'm beautiful and I love my life. And I'll be honest with you, I could have my period at that moment, but you got to fake it till you make it. So I could literally be lying to myself, but after a while I start believing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
because you're putting it in the atmosphere,
Yeah.
and guess what? The universe is listening, baby.
Oh yeah. Oh
the
yeah.
universe is listening. So all positive affirmations is necessary in order to raise your vibration. So you got to talk positive to yourself for sure.
And talk positive to other people.
Yeah.
Because it's like a full circle. You know, so you start getting used to just talking positive.
Anything else about self-love?
For now, I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I want to go back to soul contracts. I didn't mean to jump around, y'all. I didn't mean to jump around. So follow us here because it's about to get deep. It's about to get deep. All right. So now soul contracts. What I was saying was that we made a contract with somebody before you step into the next lifetime, right? So that person agreed to come back with you and enter into this next lifetime for you to learn a lesson, and maybe vice versa. It all depends because everybody's life path is different. So when you guys step into the lifetime, you guys meet up, right? Now, sometimes the soul contract can be, it can start off great. That's why there's such great connection in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all might have amazing sex.
Oh, yeah.
All that good stuff. Now, this is on a romantic level, okay? Y'all might have amazing sex or great walks in the park or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of things in common, whatever it may be. And then later on down the line, something goes sour.
Yeah.
And you cannot put your finger on it. And all of a sudden, you know, things are just taking a toll for the worse, and you cannot figure out how to get out of it. Sometimes you see repetitive cycles in the person, and you want to get out of the relationship, can't figure out how to get out of the relationship, and vice versa, whatever. You see a lot of bad things happening in your life at that time, and a lot of that has to do with the soul contract for some people. You guys in soul contracts, you have to understand this is when two people meet up in the lifetime where you have made a contract with each other. All right. And you guys are vibrating on two different frequencies. You have to understand that you contracted, but you are vibrating at two different frequencies because you guys came in to learn lessons from each other, right? And either you have learned the lesson and now the contract is terminated, or you have not learned the lesson and the timeline is now done. The timeline is done. It's finished. All right. And it's time for you to walk away. Or something has to finish. It has to finish. So in those instances, the karma still exists though. Okay. So you have to understand the karma will still exist if you did not terminate the contract. In the best scenario, we hope that you understand and have learned from the contract.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out here that have not learned from their contract. They have not learned the lessons, I should say. I'm sorry. They have not learned the lessons, which is why people leave situations and they're still carrying a lot of negative energy from relationships, holding on to the past, holding on to bad, ill feelings, depression, so on and so forth. Can't understand why, that person left, yada, yada, yada. And the reason why is because, like I said, you have not learned the lesson. So that person literally came in to teach you a lesson. But you have to understand that even if that person may have come into your life and may have been a bad person to you, you need to know that that person was a contract.
Exactly.
And they really did you a favor. because they were meant to elevate you and teach you something about you.
Mm-hmm.
Now it was up to you to learn what you were supposed to learn.
Yep.
The lesson was on you.
Now, many times people, the good thing about the universe, and this is a good thing about this thing we call Earth, the school of Earth, is that you get many chances. So now this contract that didn't get fulfilled,
Mm-hmm.
guess what? You made many contracts until you
Get the lesson.
get the lesson. So if your contract was to have self-love, then you'll meet another person who is going to do, and it's gonna be the same scenario.
Yep.
Ooh, child, I met this dude. He is gorgeous, got this curly hair, whatever it is, because the universe got to get you and this person together. So they always, it's like they put they sprinkle this dust on both of you. And it's like, oh my God, look at him. He's amazing. And then a few months later, the dust clears, and then you're like, damn, that looked like the same dude I was with the last time.
Yeah.
And then you're going through the same
scenario.
Vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Over and over again until you get it right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I have met people who still didn't get it right.
Yeah.
And they are in their 70s.
Still not getting it right. You're not getting the lesson.
You're not getting the lesson. By this point, they done dried up. They're like, listen, I'm done with whoever. I'm done with men. I'm done with women. I'm just done. So then the universe will find other ways for you to get to that point of self-love or whatever the purpose of the contracts were.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But the problem is, that's why Janine and I were sent to help you, because many people went back to the other side. And when they found out that these relationships they were in was set up as contracts, and they're like, wait a minute, are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
So all I had to do was learn self-love?
Yeah.
Are you effing kidding me?
Yeah.
And they're like, and I got to go back and do this again?
Yep.
And then they get mad because they're like, well, how am I supposed to know that the cute dude in the club was a contract and it was a test?
Exactly.
So then that's when they said, okay, we need light workers.
Exactly.
To help people raise their vibrations and understand that this is all a test.
Exactly. It's all a test.
So when I found this out, I started looking at my kids differently, because I'm like, wait a minute. They'll keep coming to me with scenarios that will make me as a mother lose my patience, or I would get consumed in their problems. And so after I realized that this was a game and I kept failing the test, I felt like somebody gave me the cheat sheet.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I got the cheat sheet already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know when something come up the pike and they tell me something or something happens and I used to fly off the handle, I don't fly off the handle anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I'm able to check that box off patience.
Right.
So
just remember that the contracts were meant for you.
Yeah.
The contracts were meant for you to balance and fix your karma.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. They were meant for you.
Yeah. So you know what too, the funny thing is, people, when they're in a relationship with someone, especially a romantic one, they are more looking at the fluff.
They are.
The romance is the fluff. The sex is a fluff.
Yep.
Whoever's currently in a relationship right now that's going a little sour, remove all the fluff, because a lot of times people, oh, I'm not enjoying the sex, or find out, and you know the answer. A lot of times you know the answer of why you are going through what you're going through with this person.
Yeah, real talk.
So when you really analyze what we're talking about, you're like, you know what lesson am I supposed to be learning in this current relationship right at this very moment?
Yep.
And trust and believe your spiritual team has been talking to you in your ear, and a lot of times it's choosing you.
Yeah, it's choosing you.
It's choosing you. Like walking away because you know that this relationship that you're in is toxic.
And most of the time you'll have a period of enlightenment when you figure out what the lesson is. Yeah. And that's because that's all you need to know is you just got to figure out what the lesson is.
Yeah. You know, I had a deep talk with a gentleman, and he was the villain in a lot of people's stories, where he was this fine dude, and many women were attracted to him, and he admitted that he dogged most of them out. And he said, when I explained to him this concept, and I said to him, you have to forgive yourself because you signed up to be that person that these women came to and had to learn how to self-love themselves. So when we had this deep talk, that he said he had an aha moment one day. He said, no, it was an aha moment for him because he remembered talking to a girl that he dogged out.
Mm-hmm.
And then she left him, went to another man who was worse. And he said on the phone, you should have stayed with me. At least you got X, Y, and Z out of me. He's treating you worse than I did.
Yep.
So it was like she didn't learn the lesson with him. And then she went and found another guy who did her 10 times dirtier.
Yeah.
So this guy actually was happy to meet me because it was like a weight that lifted off his shoulder because he needed to know that he was in the contract with these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a hard concept.
It is. It is.
And that was a hard pill for me to swallow. I couldn't understand in the beginning. I'm like, so I sat there in heaven with a group of people and came up with these scenarios of how I'm going to hurt and have trauma. Like that didn't resonate with me initially. And now that I know what I know, I'm so happy.
Yep.
Because when you have the cheat sheet, things are a lot better.
They are.
You keep like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Like I was telling Janine, like last week, all three of my daughters came to me with 3 different scenarios that would have affected me mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And because I know the cheat sheet, I handled it like a champ. I was like, I'm not going to get upset about that. That's the decision you made. That's what you did. Now, if I can, I'll guide you on how to get to the other side of that. But I'm not going to get upset and fly off the hand. I told you. And no, I did not do none of that. So kudos to me. I'm proud of myself.
Kudos to you, So. But I want to share something with you guys. This is another piece of it. I'm trying to share my screen. Let me see if I can do it. Let's see. Uh-oh, y'all. Mm-hmm. Doing all this extra stuff. Hold on now. Always be trying to do extra stuff. Mm-hmm. Messing stuff up. Hold on. Where is that?
Is that the levels of emotions right there?
Yeah, maybe this is it. Let me see. No, that's not it. Hold on, I'm going to find it. Give me 1 second. You know what? I'm going to just... This one. Here we go. Let me show y'all this. All right. So this right here.
Can they see that? Let's ask. Can y'all see that?
Can y'all see this? Sheree? This is okay.
Okay, great.
So this is a map of consciousness levels. This is important to what it is that we teach.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to Heartland Hippie because she designed this scale, and this is literally everything that we teach in a nutshell. And it puts everything into perspective about how people vibrate.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so empowering and so enlightening. And I need y'all to get this because, like, this is it. This is really, really it. So when it comes to how this earth works and how relationships work, right? So when we're all trying to move up the scale, when it comes to soul contracts, right? When we contract with people, we are all trying to reach certain heights and reach certain levels. And a lot of us vibrate lower in the scale most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we all want to try to get to love. Everybody loves the feeling of love, right? That's why we get into relationships with people now as it is, right? But it's hard to stay there because society interferes, or you know,
your thoughts,
right? Negativity
negative, yeah.
seems to always interject with whatever's going on with us, and we can never stay there. So when we contract with people, these contracts are meant to help us get out of our stagnation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even our villains, when our villains are give us those aha moments where we come into that self-awareness that we were telling you guys about, where we learn our lessons, our villains are supposed to allow us to vibrate higher. So once our contract is terminated enough to where we say, you know what, I learned my lesson from you and our situation is done, but I love you and thank you for your lesson, then that means you moved up the scale.
Mm-hmm.
So you can vibrate from having so much shame or guilt or just being angry with that person to moving on and just feeling neutral and balanced up to a 250. And you can radiate at a 250 and no longer have any more resentment, no longer having any more fear, any more grief, anything like that. You could just move on and you're at peace. You're at peace with your relationship. You're at peace with everything that you've ever gone through with that situation, with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And you're good. And these are what these contracts are designed to do. So we can move on, y'all, and be better and more healed.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, as we move up and balance our karma, what God needs us to do is God wants us to vibrate at a 500 all the time.
Mm-hmm.
God wants us to reach 500. That's the goal. God wants us to reach 500, which is crazy.
And I need for people to understand that love, which is one of the highest frequencies, love doesn't necessarily mean you're laying in bed with someone holding them and kissing them or holding someone's hand all the time. Love comes in different shades.
Mm-hmm.
So loving can be opening the door for someone,
Mm-hmm.
giving compliments, being of service to others. Because when you are doing all of those different things, your energy, your vibration stays high.
Yeah.
A lot of people, that's another thing too, that a lot of people rely on their relationship to make them happy. They're in romantic relationships and thinking that that person is responsible for getting them to stay at that love level.
Mm-hmm.
When you indirectly, as long as you're learning the lessons out of a relationship, you are responsible for your love, that vibration, that frequency that you have.
Yeah.
So you cannot rely on your partner to make you happy.
Yep.
It can't be.
Yep.
And just relying on a relationship to make you happy, then you're staying stagnant.
Exactly.
Happiness can be being at your job and bringing a dozen of donuts to your coworkers, showing that type of love. You have to, love is in every arena of your life.
Exactly. And that's where self-love comes in, because you have to be good enough for you.
Definitely.
You got to be good enough for you.
Yeah.
You don't need another person to make you happy.
Yeah.
You got to be able to radiate love on your own. Yeah. And that's why when you're able to do that, people can see the love that you radiate and you will automatically attract a loving partner, because God's intention for you is to attract a partner that loves you unconditionally.
Yeah.
That's the point. And that's why people who were walking around here so unhealed end up attracting other unhealed people.
Yeah.
That's definitely why.
Yeah.
So that's why so this is the thing. You can have a soulmate that you can attract that is a tumultuous relationship. That could be somebody to teach you lessons, but you can have people that could teach you lessons to bring you up into higher vibratory levels, but you can have people that are bringing you up to maybe courage or neutrality or willingness, but you can also have a soulmate that is bringing you up to love.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have a beautiful, loving soulmate relationship. Nobody is saying that you cannot acquire that in your lifetime.
Yep. Yep, definitely.
And that's why some people say, oh, this person is my soulmate, and they have a beautiful relationship, because you can have that. You can acquire that.
Yep. And sometimes you can have different soulmates in different portions of your life. So like a teenager, somebody who's like 18 to 21 years old, at that moment in their life, they may feel like that's their soulmate. And that could be well true. That could be their soulmate for the moment, because they're both teaching each other lessons. And then when the lessons are done, then you can go on to the next soulmate. So one advice I can give to people is that in your journey of finding true love, just make sure that
I don't know how to get that.
Let's see.
Keep talking. It's okay.
Yeah. Just understand that each relationship, there's a purpose, and once it's done, it's done. And that's the hard part that people have. It's like, okay. And that's when you have the self-love, you have the choosing yourself, because it's hard to know when to let go.
Yeah.
And then each relationship you get into, the key is making sure you're not dating the same person that you left.
Correct.
Because then you should have stayed with the previous person.
Correct. Correct.
It's like, wait a minute, you the same person. And then a lot of times you be stuck because the person be like, I ain't going to damn place.
Right.
You got to kick me out.
But there can be some soul contracts. There can be some soul contracts where where the relationship doesn't have to terminate in order for you to learn the lesson. There can be some soul contracts where you guys are meant for you to learn the lesson, but for you to vibrate at 500, which is operating at love, operating at 500, which is love. So just so you know.
Oh yeah.
Which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But everybody's different. It just depends on the karma. It just depends on the karma. It depends on what your soul mission is in your lifetime. And a lot of y'all intuitively might know, but most people don't know what it is. Most people don't know, unless you speak to other light workers that are going to give you the answer.
Definitely. And this just came over me. A lot of times people have mental health issues that intertwines with this soul contract, and it doesn't allow them. They may have a thing where they're attached to the person mentally and they just can't let go. And so that's where the self-love come in. That's where you have to clean your garden out. So it's a full circle. And that's why I said life be life, and life is hard. And a lot of times the problem is you.
Yeah.
And you have to, and at the end of the day, you have to make you happy.
Yeah.
So I think the main thing is, when it comes down to your contracts that you have with these people, if you're in a current relationship right now and you're feeling a little uneasy about the contract you have with this person, the first step I could tell people is work on you first.
Yeah.
Because some people are stuck in a certain situation. Work on you first, and then a lot of the wisdom will come to the forefront.
Yeah.
So
now, just to delve into the idea of twin flames. Twin flames is a whole nother phenomenon. So twin flames, from what we have gathered through channeling, especially since we are twin flames, and I'm getting more information about it now. Twin flames, especially based off of the vibratory scale, which I'm going to show you guys again in a minute, but based off of the vibratory scale, a twin flame, and I'm gonna tell you guys over and over again, especially because we are twin flames. Her and I are twin flames. A twin flame was one energy that reincarnated back into another lifetime, the current lifetime, that separated into two to experience lessons. It's like getting the biggest bang for your buck, because that soul has a lot of lessons to learn. So it had to learn these lessons as much as possible. So it came back as two souls. And this soul, because it's one energy, it kind of is mirroring each other, and it may have the same lessons to learn. And the life path will mirror each other. Like her and I, our life path mirrored each other.
Yeah.
We met up at school. We went to the same schools, not even at nursing school. We went to the same colleges, fucking Hampton University. You know, we shared very similar stories and a lot of pain and experiences that we had went through. And the soul will go through these journeys separately but together. And ironically, that's what happened with us. And what happens is, on a vibrational level, when the soul comes together, sometimes it has difficulty coming together because the energy is so strong, which is what's happening to me with the other twin flame that I have in my life. I have another twin flame that I know is here. And he and I, we know each other. And we may be, and he's my romantic twin flame, believe it or not. And he and I, we might be together. We might not be together. I don't know. And it's hurtful because I want to be with him. And I know he wants to be with me, but there's too much going on between us. But regardless of what, so, and we're going through things. We're going through things, but that's what happens with twin flame relationships. So it could be two souls. It could be multiple souls, twin flames. So what happens is, from a vibratory level, we're realizing that the vibration of twin flames can actually jump up and down that vibrational scale, because that vibration has to go through deep transitions, very deep transitions, because ultimately that twin flame has to meet up at 500 in order for it to come together and for it to walk in alignment. Because twin flames have a big mission. And there's actually a lot of twin flames out here. And most twin flames meet at 500. Some excel 500 and want to be in a period of enlightenment. Keisha and I actually excel 500, which is why we have a big mission of trying to help people in the path of healing. We are passionate about healing. So we're 500 and beyond most of the time. Yeah. This is where we are. We vibrate 500 and beyond all the time. All the time.
I have mastered that. Even if I have the flu, I still vibrate high.
Yes. So that's the thing, is that people who are twin flames, you notice when you're together, you may have such deep, intense love because you are together and you experience 500 all the time. And I'm just going to show you guys this scale one more time. Let me show you this scale. Bear with me. Let me show you this scale. You remember which one it was? This one, right? Here it is. Yeah. Let me show you the scale. Can y'all see my screen? I know I shared the whole thing. Look at the scale. 500 is love. Okay? Twin flames want to be here at 500 all the time. But twin flames have to undergo deep transition. So some may meet 500 sooner than the others, right? And then what happens is you guys may go up and down the scale very, very, very rigidly, very rigidly. But when you guys meet at 500, and if you can make it to 500, that energy can be very, very, very powerful and sometimes very intense. And if you don't make it to 500, then sometimes the energy has to separate because it cannot even tolerate being together in the lifetime. And the contract just terminates because you can't tolerate it. Some people don't even meet. Some energies don't even meet in the lifetime because that's how strong twin flame energies can be. Keisha and I are fortunate enough to be able to be together because our mission is very, very strong. Yeah. Because we operate beyond 500.
Definitely.
Because of our mission.
And also too, it's important to reiterate to people, because this is a free will planet. So start from the beginning, when you sat with your split team and you went over all of the things that you need to do in this lifetime, many people come back and don't even do half of the things that they were set out to do, because you chose, when you come here, because you had the veil of forgetfulness over you, which all of us are born with. You don't know what your mission is. You don't know what the purpose and the plan is. So when you meet certain people, things may happen, things may not happen, but you have a choice. And so if your twin flame or your soulmate went a different path that they were not destined, then your connection may not even come together. So that's another thing that people must understand. That's
Yeah.
why it's really important that when you are getting messages from God, from your spiritual team, it's really important to listen and to take heed, because whatever your ultimate plan is, you have to take little tiny steps along the way to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you miss many steps, the other side is trying to get you back on course. And if you don't get back on course, you're just going to miss all the buses.
Mm-hmm.
And then that main person you're supposed to meet, that soulmate, that twin flame, may not even ever happen. And that has happened many times. And that's why we were sent here, because many people are missing a lot of their missions, a lot of their steps, because they've been making stupid mistakes.
Yep.
So,
and that's the nature of karma. And you guys gotta, and I want to bring this up too about karma, is that if you guys are not fixing the karma, and you guys are not, if you're not balancing it out, if you're not energetically, if you're not working on your lessons, that energy starts to affect the body as well, and it turns into disease.
Yes.
And I want to give you guys a prime example. So let's talk about dementia really quick. So dementia, for instance, dementia is when, and Keisha and I are nurses, for those that don't know. Dementia is when the body starts to experience levels of forgetfulness until it actually no longer recalls memory. And it does it in different stages. Okay. The brain actually experiences cellular death. And anytime a cell experiences death, any part of the body, it means it's losing oxygen, right? And dementia is also dementia is when, so I'm sure a lot of people have had or experienced individuals or family members or friends who have had dementia, and know people who have either lost their memories or get trapped in their memories, right? So spiritually, what happens is that life starts to leave the body at that moment when they start to develop dementia. Life starts to leave the body. So what happens is that the memory that people may hold on to. So if you have karma that's sitting there, because the soul contract may not have been finished, you may have a memory that's stored, that gets stored, that is trapped energetically because somebody didn't terminate a contract. And energetically, because the body starts to the spirit starts to leave the body, now you don't have a chance to fix it anymore. And as a result, like I said, the soul is separating from the body, and then it's kind of like too late now. It's kind of like too late. You can't go in and really balance the karma anymore unless you do a lot of energy work. So, if you have, so that's just one aspect of it. I just wanted to make you guys like aware. So if you guys know any family members that may have dementia from a spiritual standpoint. And now if you look at something like vascular dementia, so if you have somebody that has vascular dementia, you may see that people who have vascular dementia could be related to drinking. Vascular dementia sometimes is secondary to alcoholism, people who may drink. And people who drink themselves to losing their memory is because they are trying to mask depression, right? And you may hear the terms like, oh, they're drinking themselves to death, right? Drinking themselves to death. And remember what I said about stored memories. So a lot of times people drink themselves to death because they're trying to forget something that they never fixed. And then they trap a memory there that either they're holding on to or they no longer want to recall. So when the soul starts to leave the body, you have a stored memory that they either no longer want to hold on to or gets trapped. So it's unfortunate that they never had the opportunity to balance the karma. But had they had fixed the contract, then it may not have gone that far. And a perfect example of that, and I hope that wasn't too convoluted for anybody, but that's just what I'm trying to tell you as far as a manifestation of spirituality and disease. But a perfect example of that is Wendy Williams. And Wendy Williams had a bad relationship with her ex-husband. And she had to fix her karma with Big Kev. And she didn't. And she had a tumultuous relationship with her ex-husband. And all she had to do was speak up and or end the contract in the way that she was supposed to end the contract. But she didn't because she fell into a depression. She suffers from alcoholism. And she locked the memory. And now she's dealing with dementia. Her soul is starting to leave her body.
Yeah, she's going to have to come back.
She's going to have to come back and relive that karma. And it's unfortunate.
I'm glad you brought that up because you can look at, there's many videos on YouTube, there's many books out there from this spiritualist standpoint of diseases that are picked before you come down here. So along with soul contracts, you pick the diseases that you are going to have. And a lot of people, and that was very cryptic for me because I couldn't understand, like, why would I pick a disease to have? Like, people think that, that's like a curse against you, but you actually were part of the design of picking these diseases. And so a lot of people who have cancer, I need for everybody to understand this. A lot of people who have cancer, the reason why that was put on the forefront is because whatever lessons they were supposed to learn, they're not getting it. And their soul, their higher self is saying, okay, now because I'm approaching this age, or now I've gone through so many tests and I keep failing the test. A lot of people are putting things like dementia, things like cancer as the ultimate illness,
terminal illness. Yeah.
Because what happens when people get cancer? They start forgiving everyone. They start forgiving themselves.
Yeah.
I used to be a hospice nurse, so I can attest to this. Yeah. They start, calling loved ones up and saying, I'm sorry.
Yep.
So the things that you were supposed to do before you had the disease, you couldn't do it because you were so blinded. You were so angry. You were vibrating on the lower vibration. Anger's on there.
And not willing to let go of stuff that we were trying to teach you about in the beginning of this live.
So then finally your higher self, you want to win. Everybody wants to win. I need to put all of you to understand, like, everybody wants to win. So then it's okay. You know what? Give me cancer. But not even that. It could just be anything.
Yeah.
So there's books where they say, like, if your right knee is hurting, that means that you don't feel like you're moving forward in this lifetime. This is a phenomenon.
Or if you're missing love, you crave sweets.
So you become a diabetic. You eat a lot of sugar. So a lot of people eat a lot of sugar. If you find yourself in your cabinet and you're just eating, you're missing love.
Yep.
And it don't even necessarily mean the love of a romantic partner. You're missing the vibration of love.
Right.
So I can honestly say that because I vibrate on a higher scale, I don't need sugar
Yeah.
the way I used to need sugar.
Because food has a vibration too.
Oh yeah, food is, you are what you eat.
You are. And that's why when you start to eliminate certain foods, you actually can connect to the other side better.
Yes.
So it's all a connection.
And I want to emphasize, and we try to emphasize this on every show, all of the tools that we gave you, the best way to activate it quickly is through prayer and meditation.
Yeah.
Because you need some kind of connection. It's not necessary, but it will behoove you to have a connection with your spiritual team. They were assigned to you. They're a gift to you. And a lot of people are not utilizing their spiritual team.
Yeah.
They're trying to do this mission on their own. And we both use our own spiritual teams to help us through the storms.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to win.
Yeah.
Like I said, you don't have to, but it would behoove you to do that.
Yeah.
And prayer is talking to God. Meditation is listening to God.
Yeah. 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 And for those that do have soul contracts with people, I know there may be a question of like, what do you do if you want to break a soul contract? Can you break a soul contract? It depends. And I think it depends on whether or not you've learned the lesson. Is the main thing. Mm-hmm. Because if you've learned the lesson, then you absolutely can step out of the soul contract. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely can. Now, you can step out of a contract with the individual.
But you have to create, if you didn't learn the lesson, you have to create other ones.
Contract with somebody else.
And you'll be in heaven. You'll be over there like, hey, come here.
Yeah.
I gotta learn how to have patience. Can you come back as my daughter?
Yeah.
Because I need you to act a fool so I can learn patience.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And they're like, all right, I guess because I was gonna go down anyway. So I might as well add you to my list of people to work with.
Exactly. Yeah. So the saga continues, but this is why everybody needs to really truly understand and familiarize yourself with the vibrational scale. Mm-hmm. And people learn through trauma. People mm-hmm. learn through symbols, and people learn through repetition. That's mm-hmm. the only way you learn things. So that vibrational scale is something that you need to learn and memorize, because really this is the only way out of the school of earth, mm-hmm. is knowing that vibrational scale is the key to everything. So
I'm getting a message from the other side right now. What they want to emphasize to all of you is that everyone, even unconsciously, people who are not even enlightened, people who don't have this information, everyone is trying to get to a higher vibration.
They are.
So everything is energy. This phone is energy.
Mm-hmm.
This is energy.
Yeah.
Everything is energy. So what's happening is, until people are utilizing the right tools, they're going to use everything that is not necessary to get to that level.
They're
going to use social media. They're going to use TV shows. They're going to use porno. They're going to use even that's a cup of coffee, gossiping on the phone. People are using false energy.
Yeah.
As it's like a puff of smoke that it dissipates within minutes.
Yeah.
So if you ever notice, like you watch a show or you go to the movies and then you walk out and then an hour later you feel back to being depressed, because that energy, you utilize it, you absorbed it. And now it's like, okay, now I'm looking for the next high.
Right.
Looking for the next high.
Right.
So people must understand that until you have mastered the things that we've talked about, you will always be utilizing false energy, trying to get up the scale, and you'll never get up there.
Correct.
Yep. So that's really important. So I just got that message from them. It was like, please let them know.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. It's true.
Yeah.
Everything vibrates. Everything vibrates. And you just have to, you have to bear in mind, number one, start with yourself. Mm-hmm. Start with yourself, and just know that everybody else's vibration can ultimately affect yours. But if you're not self-aware of your own vibration, then.
And it's another way to increase your vibration. I'm getting this message too. Like just sitting on the couch, mm-hmm. appreciating everything you have.
Gratitude.
Your gratitude. because
gratitude is attitude.
If you can't appreciate sitting in a quiet room,
Yeah,
on a couch, just sitting there looking at your curtains, then because everything is energy.
yeah,
So once you start having gratitude for all the things that you have and appreciating everything, that energy will start raising on its own. That's how we stay high. I don't even need to use any. I don't necessarily have to use things to keep me on a high vibration, because my gratitude and my love is for things. I appreciate everything.
yeah.
I appreciate a spoon in my hand and I'm able to eat with the spoon, because if I didn't have a hand, I couldn't even hold the spoon.
Yeah.
So if you start having gratitude for everything, your vibration will start elevating, elevating, and you'll just be at one.
Yep.
You'll be at one with everything.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those are tools.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing. That's the main thing. That's the keys. Literally, that's the key to everything. Yeah. And just knowing that everything has a vibrational level. And just remember though, this is where we messed up in the past lifetime. That no matter where you vibrate, that you can't hold anybody else harmless for where they vibrate on the scale.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because everybody is entitled to their own life path.
Yes.
And that, because when people are vibrating lower than you are, it creates a class system. And that's where racism and all these other things come from. That's literally where it comes from.
Yeah.
We can't, we have to hold people harmless for vibrating lower.
Yeah. Because they've been through, their garden is full of weeds and cobwebs.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's entitled to their own mistakes, because we're all human.
And if you're making them feel bad, you're adding to their neck. You're adding to their vibration being low.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
One of the things that we discovered talking earlier is that it is so easy, and at any level of vibrating, whether you're low or high, you manifest.
Yeah.
At every level.
Yeah.
And we're going to show you how really quick before we go. So if you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, woe is me, and you operating on this low vibration instead of trying to get yourself on a higher vibration, guess what? You're going to have a fucked up day.
Yep. You manifested negativity.
You created that effed up day.
Yep.
Trust me.
Yep.
You're the master of your universe.
Yep.
If you wake up and say, oh, woe is me, and I'm no good, guess what? And then I guarantee you go home, when you analyze your day, like, damn, I did have a fucked up day, because I said I was going to have a fucked up day.
Yeah.
But now if you wake up with sunshine and sunflowers, I'm having and when you come across an obstacle, because life is not perfect,
right,
and you're gonna get tested. Trust me, when you having sunshine and sunflowers, the universe be like, let me test it,
right,
let me show us. And then somebody come around and you be like, you know what? That's a test. I'm getting tested. I know what this is.
Yep.
Because the twin flames done told me
That's
the other
right.
day. We gonna pass this. So you gonna go right around that obstacle,
right, and
keep going doing your sunshine and sunflowers.
Right.
Trust me, you're gonna have an amazing day.
Yeah, that's the key to positive manifestation.
Yeah, so you manifest whatever level you on, and I don't think anyone else has ever. I personally haven't heard anyone talk about that, because we always claim that you got to be on a high vibration to manifest.
Yeah.
No, you manifest every day you wake up.
You do. Yeah.
So
yeah.
But
whatever you want to manifest.
Yeah, you mirror what you put out.
What you put out.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
Yeah, so that's really important for people to understand.
Yeah, it's the truth. Yeah. It's the truth.
Yeah. So I remember one time I was helping someone clean their room, and they was in a low vibration. I was like, nah.
Especially if you were helping them clean their damn room.
I was like, we're gonna put some music on. We gonna make.
Wait, it wasn't my room, was it?
No.
I'm about to say
they was like, oh God, woe is me. I'm like laying in that fucking room. I was like, nah, we ain't doing this. So
yeah, man. All right, y'all. Well, we're gonna get out of here, family.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to us tonight. And this was good. This was enlightening.
Yeah.
And teaching everybody about the importance of vibration. Because like I said, most people do not understand what vibration really means. And we have to really put it out there. And some people are visual learners. And I know I'm a visual learner, and I wanted to penetrate in your brain what that vibratory scale is all about, what it means to vibrate high
and low.
and low.
Yeah.
Because we all have a goal of vibrating at 100 because it feels good to vibrate at 100. When you connect with somebody, you vibrate at 100. When you connect with other people, you want to feel 500. It just feels amazing to be in sync with somebody. And matter of fact, when you have a soulmate, and ladies and gents, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be biased. This is for all relationships. I'm sorry. For all relationships, when you have a loving relationship that vibrates at 500, hear me out. You guys move in such synchronicity that you can operate businesses functionally. See, and this is the thing, the government knows this. You know why the government knows this? Because this is why everybody puts out this rhetoric to say, oh, you only get married to if you have a business together. You're not supposed to get married unless you guys have a business. You ever heard people say that before? Hell fucking yeah, people say that shit.
No,
there's no point. There's no point in getting married unless you have attention to have a business, because the government will divvy your property, will be the mediator of your property if you have a business. That's what the purpose of of marriage is about. The government knows this, because they know that when you vibrate at a certain level, okay, when you're vibrating at 500, you can function well enough to manage at a business level. That's why you hear certain men say, oh, when I've met my queen, my business functioned better. You hear certain people say that, because you can operate at a business level when you've really met a good partner, and you vibrate at 500, and that is deep. That means every aspect, every spectrum of a relationship can function optimally at 500. Anything below that, it gets harder, because your communication level suffers, your household suffers, your finances suffers, everything suffers as a result. So just bear that in mind, that when you don't heal yourself and your partner does not heal themselves, you cannot function optimally.
Yeah, you can't.
All right. So that's my takeaway. That's my takeaway for the evening, y'all. And that's why a lot of people, and this is a problem with a lot of communities, well, certain communities, I'm going to say, it's a problem with certain communities where we are dealing with each other superficially. And we are looking at each other thinking, oh, her body this, her body that, and I need my wife or my husband and whatever to look a certain kind of way, instead of feeling the vibration of a person and using our intuition to attract that individual.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Because now you're attracting people based off of your pain, and you're locking in soul contracts that are based off of learning your lessons that are based off of healing. So good luck. But in any event, that's why we're here to help y'all. Real talk. That's why we're here to help y'all. And we have so much healing. We have so much lessons to teach. So many things to teach y'all about healing. And we're not going to leave y'all hanging. I promise you. We are building a community We have it in the works.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the works right now. And it's going to get big. It's going to be big. It's going to be massive. The amount of information that we're collecting to help everybody.
We want you to win. We want you to check all those boxes, and we want you to find your purpose.
Indeed.
Because what is this all about? Like, why are you here? If you came here for and it was a waste, you wasted 50, 60, 70, 80 years of your life
suffering.
And suffering and not learning and not fulfilling, not winning.
Yep.
So then you go back and then you're sitting with your spiritual team and they're reviewing what you were supposed to do and what you didn't do and the karma that you created in the process.
Yep.
And then now you're like, I gotta go back. And that's not fun. They said that the average soul is here 50 times. There's some souls that have come 100 times to this earth because they just can't get it right. And so all of the things that we've talked about up until this very point is to help you win this game.
Yeah.
And it's all a game.
It's a game.
Yeah. And they said one thing about Earth is that you have to pass. They say you can repeat a grade, but you can't skip a grade.
Yeah.
Real talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then when you go back to heaven, you see the progress you made on this side. It reflects in over there.
Yeah.
And no one ever makes you feel bad over there. That's one thing I want to let you know is love over there.
Yeah.
But you internally feel bad. Your soul feels bad, and you're like, I got to go back and fix it.
Yep.
Why do you have to do that? Like, do it now.
Do it now. Yep.
Do it now. Like, that's why we here. Like,
yep.
Listen, this is our last time.
That's it.
This is
baby.
our last time. So
I'm done.
Listen, if you want to be on the train with us,
yep.
And trust me, we did not start perfect. We made a lot of mistakes.
We did. We had to undergo a lot of transition.
Yeah, we made a lot of mistakes in our life.
But that's the only way we were able to get past the level of 500.
Yeah.
That's the only way we could get past 500.
Yeah. So it's meant for you.
Yeah.
Everyone.
So put a number on it. That's the best way to do it. Put a number. Well, where are you vibrating right now?
Yeah. When you meet a dude, I want to way he's vibrating. Don't even worry about his finances.
Yeah. Worry about where he's vibrating.
Where he's vibrating.
but listen, like I said to you, worry about where he's vibrating, but don't look down on him.
Nope.
Don't look down on him because that's where he is on his journey, and worry about where you are on your journey.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yep.
Okay. So that's our takeaway. Like I said, we're building something big. If y'all haven't caught Truth Be Told Conversations podcast, you are missing out. Mm-hmm. We drop every Wednesday, 6 a.m., baby.
Yep.
And we got great conversations going on. And actually, we have a good show coming up in the next 1 or 2 weeks where we are doing a beautiful, beautiful live intuitive coaching with a very, very lovely young lady who instantly made some beautiful changes in her life right on air. And we cannot wait for that show to come on.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that one, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
But if you haven't checked this out, make sure you make sure you share and subscribe to our channel because we got a lot of work to do together as a collective, and we're not giving up on anybody. We are here to help everybody, and we went through our own things so we can teach all of you. And we hope that when you guys heal, you can share your stories with other people and help them heal, because that's how we do it. That's how we all win and help everybody raise their vibration to 500.
Yep.
That's the key. 500. That's how we win. We got to vibrate at 500.
Yep.
So if you don't know how to unlock the code, so now you know soul contracts, twin flame contracts, you got to vibrate at 500. It's been decoded.
Yep.
All right.
Amen to that.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in. See you next time. Good night.
Mwah.